Alrighty, good afternoon, Greenville. How's everyone doing? Second session of the day, not tired out yet? A show of hands, who was here yesterday? Okay, awesome. And who was in one of my sessions yesterday? Okay, recognize a couple of you. Well, if you're here to learn about how to take your ads to the next level, maybe you're already doing some advertising on Facebook and you're looking to find new customers and boost your content. Make sure you get the right content to the right people. You're in the right place. My name is Claire Kaptinsky, and I'm on the small business team at Facebook. So this means that part of my job enables me to meet a lot of small business owners like yourselves, hear about some of the issues you're facing, and make sure that you leave these sessions knowing a little bit more than you did before and feeling more confident to go home and really boost your online presence. Small business has been a big part of my life ever since I was young. At the time I was born, actually, both my mom and my dad were running their own small businesses. My dad was serving in the Coast Guard at the time. And during this time, he started a hat box company. So he started out building prototypes out of just cardboard scraps, but built it into a business, distributing these hat boxes in military bases all over the country. He was never really able to tame that entrepreneurial spirit, and neither was I. I remember in the early 2000s at some point, I had the idea of making a cupcake vending machine, just as a young kid. I thought it would be the coolest thing ever. And so many people agreed with me and said, yeah, that sounds great, but too bad, that's not really possible. Sure enough, a couple years later, I just remember this so distinctly. I was in a mall with my mom, and sure enough, there was a cupcake vending machine. So it was little things like this. Maybe it was just me being a dreamer, or learning from my dad a little bit more year after year, and getting to know more small business owners like yourselves every single day, that I'm starting to see some similarities in small business owners across the country. And on one hand, those similarities include the passion and determination and the love that goes into every small business. And on the other hand, some things that go a little bit more unrecognized. The hard work, the risk, the financial investment, the time that really goes in to starting a small business. To kick off this presentation today, I want to share the story of a small business in Franklin, Tennessee, who is able to use some of the tools we'll talk about today to revitalize what might seem like a more old-fashioned type of business.
If someone were to tell me that Main Street is dead, the first thing I would ask them is, have you been to Franklin? I'm Julie Walton Garland. I'm the third generation at Walton's Antique and Estate Jewelry, located in historic downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We specialize in pre-1940s antique and estate jewelry. My grandmother, Melba Walton, started the store 43 years ago. She got started in the jewelry business by selling jewelry on the hood of her car at flea markets. We are never afraid of trying something different, and I think that is one of the reasons why we've been here so long. I remember my dad telling me, we've got to find a way where even when we're closed, we're making money. And Facebook was the way we were able to do that. Everyone is always on their phone, so what better way to promote our business than on a media that everybody's already on? Since engagement rings are our #1 seller, we often target our ads towards people in relationships, and we have people come in all the time that will bring out their phones and show us the picture that they saw on Facebook. Because of our success on Facebook, we launched our online store, so now anybody in the country can shop at Walton's. We've seen our sales increase dramatically.
Before Julie came on board, we kind of did everything the old-fashioned way. We hand-wrote receipts, had no internet. Julie just knocked it out of the park with online sales. Now we can reach 10 times people for a quarter of the money.
Not only do I love my family business, but just as much, I love this city. I've become the promotions chair for the Downtown Franklin Association, which is the nonprofit group that helps Franklin thrive. We've had some opportunities to sit down and work with businesses to help them with their Facebook and Instagram presence. It's been really fun to get people started. Once they see the value, their business is exceptional after that. Another wonderful business down here is owned by Dave Krekak called Our Thrift Store. It's a business that he started to support adults with special needs.
Julie takes what she's learned and invested in us. So we started to play around with boosting posts and launching our business and marketing strategy through Facebook. We had this 1926-27 Victrola donated, so we put that on Instagram and Facebook. Within 45 minutes, it sold over the phone. That's huge for us. You know, a rising tide floats all the boats. Well, that's us. We're keeping up with Julie.
My grandmother passed away 3 years ago. If she were here today, she would be thrilled with what Franklin looks like. She was one of the first that really started the charge to revitalize Franklin. Today, Franklin is thriving more than it ever has before, and I see it thriving for generations to come.
Awesome, I love that story. So just to go through a couple of the things that we'll talk about today, we'll start out by talking about how to define your business goals and relay them into Facebook to make sure that you're creating the right type of advertisements. Then we'll talk about how to think about your audience, how to realize who you're already reaching and how to reach new customers and how to define those audiences accordingly. And then we'll go through how you can measure the success that you're having already and make tweaks moving forward. Great. Also, just a couple more housekeeping items. You might have already heard this, but we will be sending out a list of resources at the end of the week. So feel free to take notes, jot anything down that you want to remember, but you will be getting some resources in a few days. And just in the interest of everyone's time, I won't be taking any live Q&A right now, but feel free to find me after the presentation if you have any questions. Awesome. So, as you saw in that video, and as you probably already realized, the world is shifting to mobile. You heard Julie say, we want to reach people when they're not in our store. And the way they were able to do that was by reaching people when they were spending time on their mobile devices, specifically on Facebook. Facebook is one of those places where people are spending a lot of their mobile time. Raise your hand if you have a mobile device on you right now. Great. Just look around the room. That is almost everyone. I can't really see much in this light. But I'm pointing these statistics out because now that you know how many people are spending time on Facebook on their mobile devices, and now that you will be equipped with some of the tools to reach these people, it's easier than ever before for you to reach the right people at the right time. So sort of the control center or the brain of what we're going to be talking about today is this thing called the Ads Manager tool. So I want to share a brief video of what the tool looks like before we jump into some of the specifics.
Your business keeps you busy and on the go. So now, with the Ads Manager app available on iOS, we've made it easy to create your Facebook ads on a mobile device and manage them wherever you are. So you can reach all the people who matter to your business when they use Facebook. With just a few taps, you can track results on the go, stop and start ads, edit your ad budget and schedule, and get important notifications. To download the app, go to the Apple App Store. And to learn more about Facebook ads, visit this URL.
Great. So if you visit this URL on the screen, this is what will lead you to the Ads Manager tool. We're going to break down the Ads Manager tool into a couple of different sections throughout this presentation. But as an overview, your advertisements are broken down into 3 levels. At the top here, we have the campaign level. And in this tab is where you select your objective. This is where you think about what the goal of your advertising campaign actually is and select it in the tool so that Facebook knows what you're trying to achieve. Next, at the ad set level, this is where you select your budget, your audience, and a couple of different things that can apply to multiple advertisements. And finally, at the individual advertisement level, here's where you upload your copy and your creative and really modify those individual advertisements that are going to show up in Facebook users' news feeds. So thinking about the campaign level and your business objective, it's always important to start with the goal. And the way you define this to Facebook is by choosing an objective. And there's a couple of different options that you have here. They're broken down into 3 different areas: awareness, consideration, and conversion. And we like to think of this as a marketing funnel, or starting with a more broad reach at the top, making a lot of people aware of your business name and what you do, then slowly getting people to start considering your products and read a little bit more about you, and finally to drive those conversions, drive the sales or the registrations or whatever your business goal is. So starting with the awareness bucket, under here we have reach. When you select reach, your spend will be optimized based on getting the most number of people in front of your advertisement at the lowest cost. Brand awareness is the other one in this category. And you can see some of the different examples of what a brand awareness advertisement might look like here. Not only is it showing your name, but it's showing your personality. You can see in some of the videos here, there's products, people using the products that you sell, really engaging content that will leave a lasting impact on whoever views your advertisement. So that's the first level of awareness. If we jump into the second bucket of consideration, you're going to use this objective to drive a deeper understanding of your business. You want Facebook users to click into your website maybe, drive traffic to your business page, or even generate some leads and learn more about who your customers actually are. So let's say you choose the traffic objective here. Maybe you just revamped your website and you want to drive a lot of people to that to eventually drive conversions. There's something called the call to action button, which is in the lower hand corner of the advertisement right here. And this is one of the things that you can use to bring your customers where you want them. You can also use this call to action button in the conversion level of your objective, the final level. But conversions can mean something different to every business depending on what you offer. Who here sells products? Awesome. And who here offers services? Wow, great. It's usually the other way around. That's interesting. So if you offer a service, you might be interested in registrations, leads, or maybe people attending a certain event that you're offering. Products, you might just want to drive sales. Bring those people to your website, have them put your shoes in their shopping cart and check out. And boom, you have a conversion. Well, after you select what type of conversion you're looking for, you're able to specify more about what you're looking for in the advertisement using that call to action button. So here, Jasper's Boutique is driving conversions by including the Shop Now button in their advertisement in order to bring Facebook users to their website and eventually check out. Now, it's just important to keep in mind here that, well, let's see if you guys can guess. What do you think is more expensive? Making someone aware of your advertisement or bringing them to check out and purchase an item on your page? Check out. Exactly. So it's just important to keep in mind that conversions tend to be a little bit more expensive. Great. So once the user selects Shop Now, they'll be directed to your page, select the product, enter it into their cart. Again, multiple steps, and this is part of the process that makes it a little bit more expensive. It's just something to keep in mind. So once you've set your objective, thought what you want to achieve by your advertisement or your advertising campaign, it's important to think about who exactly you want to reach. And the good news is that with Facebook, you can choose as broad or as narrow of a segment of people as you want to. And you do this by defining your audience. So there's a couple of different audiences that you can create using Facebook. There's core audiences, custom audiences, and lookalike audiences. With core audiences, you're able to select a series of attributes, maybe an age range or a location, to narrow down the Facebook users who you want to reach. Custom audiences are really useful. They allow you to retarget a group of people that you might have already done business with before, maybe a group of people who've watched your video advertisement or attended a certain event. And lookalike audiences allow you to reach new customers based on your existing customers who have some of the same traits that your customers already do. Before we dive into this, I just want to touch briefly on data security, specifically in the context of custom audiences. So when you have a list of email addresses or phone numbers of your current customers, that's a really valuable asset So I just want to walk through how Facebook keeps that safe. And we use a technique called data hashing. Essentially, what data hashing is masking or disguising your set of data. So what does that mean? Before I walk through, there's just two main takeaways here. The first is that Facebook never actually receives the list of data that you upload. And the second is that once you create the custom audience you were looking for, the rest of the data is actually deleted. So when you start by uploading this list of email addresses or phone numbers, each of those individual entries is transformed into a chain of up to 64 characters and numbers, unrecognizable to anyone who sees the list. On the Facebook side, server data is also hashed into these long random chains of characters and numbers. And in order to find the people that you're looking for by uploading the original list, these two sets are matched. And the matches are kept and put into a custom audience, and the rest are deleted. And what you're left with is your list, your custom audience, who you're able to target in various advertisements on Facebook. Awesome. So we'll start by going into a little bit more about core audiences. Some of the key features that you can choose here include gender, age, location, interests. For example, maybe you're interested in reaching, I don't know. Let's actually hear from one of you. Let's hear a business in Greenville on Main Street. Does anyone own a business here on Main Street? Yes. Enterprise dealerships? Dealer Solutions, great. So say you run this business here in Greenville, Enterprise Dealer Solutions. You might be interested in reaching people within a specific age range, specific professional level, and within a specific radius around Greenville. And here's where you're able to select some of these attributes. Awesome. Once you select this audience, select certain attributes, Facebook will display what's called an audience meter. And what this meter will tell you is how large or small your audience is based on some of the characteristics that you've selected. So as a different example, maybe you're a new women's retail brand here in Greenville. And you might be interested in reaching women within the Greenville area between the ages of 25 and 30 who attended South Carolina and like the color pink. Well, Facebook might actually tell you that's too small. There are not enough Facebook users in this area who meet all of that criteria. So you go back and say, all right, I'll just market to females between the ages of 18 and 65 in South Carolina. Well, that also seems to be a little bit too large. This audience meter will allow you to find the sweet spot of the audience size so that you can deliver your advertisements at a reasonable cost. Great. Up next, we have custom audiences. As I mentioned before, custom audiences allow you to upload a list, specific list of either current customers, maybe people who viewed your video, or even attended a certain event, and market them directly through Facebook. To give an example of a small business who's already been using custom audiences and had a lot of success, the Museum of Science in Boston sells gift memberships to their museum during the holiday season. They've had success with this in the past, but this most recent holiday season, they were able to use custom audiences to upload a list of people who purchased their membership in the previous year and just remarket to them. So again, this wasn't really much work besides uploading that list of customers that they already had. And you can see some of the results that they had from this. The way you select your custom audience is by going into that Ads Manager tool that we talked about at the beginning, selecting custom audiences along with a couple of other filters that you can select if you choose. Once you do this, the custom audience will be created and you can monitor how that advertisement is performing in the same way that you would look at any other advertisement's results. So up next, lookalike audiences. This has been one of the best proven ways to reach new customers. We talk to small business owners here and over again, when we ask them how they're able to reach new customers in a new state or a new city or a new country, over and over again, they say it's lookalike audiences. So how are you actually able to create these? Well, it's actually located in the same place that the custom audience preferences are located. All you have to do is select lookalike instead, upload this seed audience, and I'll get into the seed audience in just a second. Select a location, there's a couple of other factors here, and then select your audience size. And what this size is the percentage of Facebook users in the area who you want to reach based on how closely they resemble your seed audience. So 1% is the most specific, 10% is the most broadly resembling this seed audience, and this seed audience can be many different things. If you have a website, for example, and you already have a custom audience of people who've gone into your website and clicked on the same pair of shoes over and over again, you're actually able to upload that as a seed audience, create a lookalike audience off of it. If you had an awesome event last week, let's say you had an open house in your store and partnered with a different business in the area, and you had people register as they came in, you can also use that list of Facebook users as a seed audience. There's a lot of different options here. There is one example of a small business who was able to use lookalike audiences really well. It's called the Peach Truck. And just to give a little bit of background, the Peach Truck was started by a man named Steven who just loved Georgia peaches. Who doesn't? But he was able to use lookalike audiences to reach people in new states based off of his current customers. And he was already selling peaches off the back of his truck and selling peaches through a website online. And by segmenting these different groups of customers, he was able to effectively make lookalike audiences based off of people who already loved him. So he had his in-person spenders, the people buying off the back of his truck, those fresh peaches. Next, he had his e-commerce spenders, or the people who were repeatedly buying from his website. And finally, the potential spenders, maybe Facebook users who followed him but had not yet made a purchase. And I just want to highlight that by paying attention to the different customer segments that Steven had, he was able to do this really effectively. So I encourage you all to think of your own customers in terms of the different segments and use Facebook to market to each of them differently. The potential spenders, I'm sorry. So next, let's think about where people will see your ad. You're creating your advertisement using some of Facebook's tools, but that doesn't mean that Facebook is the only place your advertisement can show up. In fact, there's a couple of different places it can show up, encompassed in what we call the Facebook family of apps and services. So what's included in here? You might recognize a couple of these icons already. We have Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, Workplace, which is similar to a Facebook for your company or your business to communicate with your employees. And we also have this icon in the center here, this funny purple guy. And I get a lot of questions, what is the Audience Network? Well, the Audience Network is a collection of apps and websites that can display your advertisements that you make on Facebook. So this is really useful because it allows you to reach your customers in places other than just Facebook and Instagram, other than their newsfeed. So if you've ever been on a website or an app and see maybe the same advertisement pop up that just popped up on your Facebook, that's probably because it's included in the Audience Network. So just to explain this a little better, I'll play a short video about what the Audience Network is and how it works.
Share your story and grow your business with Facebook ads. Facebook makes it easy to find the right people, capture their attention, and get results. Now you can share your ad beyond Facebook. Audience Network helps you reach more people in mobile apps and websites. Using the same Facebook targeting tools you know and love, your ad reaches your ideal customers where they spend their time. Every mobile app and website is reviewed for quality. You also have the ability to exclude sensitive categories or sites. Based on your campaign objective, your ad is shown across different placements to help maximize the results given your budget. Here's how it works. For each opportunity to reach your customer, there's a different cost per result. When you advertise only on Facebook, your ad delivers as many results as possible within your budget. In this example, with a $10 budget, you get 4 results. By adding Audience Network, there's more places to show your ad. The lower cost placements are filled first, giving you more results for your same budget. If testing, create identical campaigns like our example, and run them at the same time. When combined, you'll find that Facebook and Audience Network delivers the most results for your budget. Just make sure Audience Network is included in the campaign placement setting, so your ad dollars can do more.
Awesome. So if you're wondering if your advertisements are already showing up on Audience Network, that's actually the automatic setting. So your advertisements might be showing up on the Audience Network, which is awesome because, as that video said, you're getting more results for a lower cost because you can show your advertisement in a couple of different places. But this chart on the screen shows the breakdown between your objective and the placement of your advertisement. So at the top here, we have the different places that your advertisement can show up. In case you were wondering, IGS is Instagram Story, and ISV is in-stream video. So those are 2 places your advertisements can show up. But not every type of objective, if you set your objective in Ads Manager, will show up in every single place. So for example, if you have a video advertisement, that advertisement's eligible to show up everywhere except for Messenger. So it's just important to keep some of these things in mind. You do have the ability to select exactly where your advertisement shows up. If you only want it to show up on Facebook, you only want it to show up on Instagram Stories, you have that ability. But we've actually found that you will broaden your reach and improve your results by selecting automatic placement. And that's because, as the video shared, the more places you have, the more options to reach customers at a lower cost you also have. Great. So now that you've thought about your objective, your audience, you know the different places your advertisement can show up, it's important to think about the format of advertisement. So who here has video advertisements? Great. So video, I just want to highlight, even though it won't be in this presentation, is one of the most popular forms of media on Facebook right now. So I'd really encourage you all to explore your different video advertising options. And the Creative Shop and Mobile Studio outside here is a great place to learn about some of the apps that can actually help you create these really captivating advertisements. But you can actually create advertisements that seem to be in a video format with multiple different pictures using 2 of the formats that Facebook currently offers. There's the carousel, which allows you to display multiple photos and let your Facebook users scroll through. In this example, you can see that Time wanted their users to see how their hair curler is actually used and the results of that. And by allowing the users to scroll through the photos and see exactly how it's used, it tells more of a story and keeps your attention. You can also upload multiple photos in the format of a slideshow advertisement. So if you've ever been on the same screen on your phone with multiple photos displaying one after the other, a couple seconds apart, this is a slideshow format. So Stance Socks was a company that was experiencing some difficulty with their sales when they were having just still photos as their advertisements. They offer a ton of different socks, but by posting just one photo in their advertisement, they weren't able to showcase all that they offer. So they tried a slideshow advertisement and had amazing results and haven't posted a still advertisement since then. Great. And the third thing that I mentioned in the beginning that we'll talk about is how to know if you're being successful in your advertisements. This is really important to monitor your success because Facebook makes it incredibly easy to switch up your advertisements and try new things at any point in time. And the way you're able to check how you're doing is through Ad Insights. Again, this is part of the Ads Manager tool. You can also access it from your business page at the top by clicking the Insights button. And what the Insights will tell you is a couple of different things. On the main screen, you have the ability to see how your advertisement is performing over time in terms of reach, clicks, cost per result, all types of things. You can also see how your results are broken down by campaign, ad set, and individual advertisement. So you can tell if it's just one advertisement that's causing you trouble or an entire campaign, and switch up accordingly. These insights are broken down into 3 different areas, into performance, demographics, and placement. So under performance, you can see the different results over time. So maybe if you launched a video advertisement on Tuesday, you can look if there's a spike there. Maybe if you launched a slideshow advertisement and a carousel advertisement at the same time, you can see how each of those compare to each other and know how to move forward and create your future advertisements. The demographics section is super useful in knowing who's actually looking at your advertisements, who's actually interacting with them. This allows you to see how your Facebook users break down in terms of age and demographic. And finally, placement. So as we mentioned before, your advertising can be seen in multiple places on Facebook, on Instagram, on the Audience Network. And here's where you see how your performance varies in each different place. Here, the advertisements were only shown on Facebook, so that's the only place that the results are showing up for. There are additional insights that are also available to you depending on what type of advertisement you create. So if you have a video, for example, Facebook knows that you might be interested in a couple of different things. Maybe who's watched your video for 3 seconds, who's watched it for 5 seconds, what percentage they watch overall. So you can know if you need to shorten your advertisement or maybe make those first 3 seconds really captivating. I was actually talking to a small business owner last week who is very, very specific in her targeting, and she creates different advertisements, believe it or not, for people who watch 3 seconds of her video, 5 seconds of her video, and more than 25 seconds of her video, so she can specify audiences based on who's most engaged with her. Really interesting. And you have access to all these insights in the Ads Manager app, in case you're thinking, I don't have time to sit down at home in front of my computer and look at all this. You can actually monitor these results on the go, start or stop an advertisement at any point in time, and really check out how those demographics, how that age range, and how those placement metrics change over the course of the week or the month. Awesome. This is just an example of what it might look like if you scroll through the Ads Manager app. That was a lot of information. I have 2 tips that have come to us from small business owners in the past over and over again that I just wanted to share. A couple things that were most useful for them in determining what type of content works best for their users. The first is the Facebook Pixel. So who here has heard of the Facebook Pixel? Cool. Next question, who here has a website? Great. So the Pixel is extremely useful if you have a website. Now, what the Pixel does is allows you to see who visits your website from Facebook. So you know how well you're sending people to your website from Facebook. Now, that's part 1 of the Pixel. Part 2 is that the Pixel allows you to create custom audiences of Facebook users who visited different parts of your website. So if you offer men's clothes, women's clothes, shoes, and everything in between, and you're interested in creating those really catered advertisements, you can actually create custom audiences using the Pixel, use them in your custom audiences on Facebook to market those people directly with a picture of the exact purse that they were looking at. So I don't know about you all, but I'm what I call a serial cart abandoner, which means that love shopping online, love putting stuff in my cart, but I don't often go and make that final click. So if you've ever seen that same pair of shoes or even a vacation that you look at pop up on Facebook in your newsfeed, that's actually the Pixel in action, and it's very effective in getting your users to convert. Great, so that's the first thing. The second concept that we hear is really useful that some of you might already do without knowing exactly what it's called is split testing. Now, what split testing allows you to do is run 2 parallel ads at once and monitor how they're each doing and basically test 2 different strategies at once to see what's the most effective. So if you have a couple different pictures you want to share and you're not sure if a carousel advertisement or a slideshow would do better, or you're not sure whether women between the ages of 18 and 24 or men between the ages of 18 and 24 will react more to your Facebook post, you can run split tests to get these results and then just use the one that performs better. So here's a short video that explains a little bit more about split testing.
Advertisers are constantly looking for exciting new ways to reach their customers and motivate them to act. How can you learn which campaign tactics are most likely to improve your performance on Facebook? Split testing, also known as A/B testing, is your passport to better performance. It lets you easily isolate and test one campaign variable at a time, such as ad creative, audience, placement, or delivery optimization. Split testing delivers different ad variations with non-overlapping audiences to show you which one is most effective with the lowest cost per result. For example, let's say you're a travel advertiser with a new creative idea for your campaign. You can use split testing to see if the new creative inspires more bookings than the old one. Then, you can use the results to optimize future campaigns with the goal to sell more tickets. Hoping to find a more travel-savvy audience? Split testing can help. You can send that same newly optimized ad to 2 or more different audiences to learn which one is most responsive. Then, you can target future campaigns to the group most likely to take you up on your globe-trotting offer. Split testing is easy to use and the results are easy to understand, so you can be confident you're making the choice that's right for your campaign. It's the simple ad testing solution that helps advertisers optimize ads all around the world. Begin your optimization journey with a split test today. Available in Ads Manager and the Facebook API.
Awesome. So again, that was the Facebook Pixel and split testing, 2 of the most useful things that we've found for small businesses. I know that was a lot, but I just want to highlight some of the takeaways from today that hopefully you've jotted down or you can remember when you go home tonight. The first is definitely make use of the Ads Manager tool if you haven't already. Download that app, and I would recommend just scrolling through, and a couple things might be surprising to you, whether it's the age range or the demographics or where your advertisements are performing the best. Next, custom audiences and lookalike audiences are 2 different ones that you can create on Facebook. Custom will allow you to remarket and retarget some people that you've already reached, and lookalike audiences will get you new customers. Next, we have the Facebook Pixel, which will allow you to create those custom audiences, and finally split testing to decide what's actually working best for your business. Just want to give a plug for Facebook Blueprint because I'm a huge fan of the Blueprint, but I'm not the only one who's a fan of it. It's proven to be over and over again a great resource for small business owners, especially if you have that one topic that you're not so sure about. I'd encourage you to stop by the Blueprint booth out there and pick up a flip through of all the different topics that Blueprint has for you to learn about. Finally, on the way out, if you liked this presentation, if you learned something new, just give a green smiley, and also make sure to stop by the survey booths outside. This is only our 4th event of 30 cities. I don't know if you guys know, we'll be on the road for the rest of the year, just meeting small business owners all over the country, and we really appreciate any feedback that we can get to incorporate into our events in the future and our presentations, really just to make it most useful for all of you. And finally, make sure to join the Facebook Community Boost for Greenville group. I'm actually in a couple of these groups for our previous events. They're really active. They're great ways to connect with people who you've met here, ask any questions that you have. We even post the resources in the group, so all you have to do is go to that group and click in. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for coming, and have a great rest of your day.